In the headlines, 8 years after the Chibok attack, Amnesty International says 1,500 students kidnapped in Nigeria. Families of victims of Abuja Kaduna train attack accuse federal government of abandoning their loved ones. National Orientation Agency partners fact-checking platforms to tackle menace of fake news in the country. Away from Nigeria, United Nations says 9 million in need of aid in South Sudan. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now to the details. Over 1,500 school children have been kidnapped by notorious groups in Nigeria since the abduction of Chibok schoolgirls by Boko Haram 8 years ago. This is according to an investigation by the human rights group Amnesty International. The report.
The report said Nigeria is failing to protect vulnerable children by refusing to respond to alerts of impending attacks on schools across the northern part of the country. Director, Amnesty International Nigeria, Osai Ojiho, in a statement on Thursday, faulted Nigerian authorities for failing to learn from the Chibok incident by preventing further crimes. The Nigerian authorities have remained shockingly unwilling to investigate these attacks or to ensure that the perpetrators of these callous crimes face justice. Every fresh attack is followed by further abductions that deprive school children of their right to liberty and leave victims' families with no hope of accessing justice, truth, or reparations. Adding that Nigerian authorities must urgently comply with the African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child, to which it is a state party. Nigeria must take concrete steps to prevent the abduction of children and ensure that those suspected of these crimes should face justice in fair trials, and also rescue the hundreds of children who remain in at large.
Meanwhile, families of the kidnapped victims of the March 28th Abuja Kaduna train attack have accused the Nigerian government of abandoning their loved ones in the hands of terrorists. The distraught family members, who could not hold back their emotions, said no government agency or officials had reached out to them since the tragic incident. The group accused President Buhari's government of abandoning the victims of their abductors. Speaking on behalf of the families at a press conference on Thursday in Abuja, Aliyu Mahmoud said every attempt to reach out to the abductors for further discussion and negotiation was not successful. He said the terrorists made it clear in a viral video that they want to discuss with the Nigerian government. He said that they have been living with trauma since the terrorist attack on the train. The families therefore appealed to the government to come to their aid and ensure the safe return of their loved ones.
Look at each woman with their message. Look at no medications. Look at the blood, look at the abdomen and the shots in the legs. That there is no any treatment. It's on the video clip, the president. Please watch it, look at it. Look at it from the humanitarian angle. Please, we're begging you, Mr. President. Please come to the rescue of our family members. Come to the rescue of your citizens. Come to the rescue of your children, of your son, of your wives. Please, Mr. President, do something. Please. Please. Please, we're begging. Please, look at us. Just, you know, what's that thing? Or are you going to talk about the psychological trauma these people can go through and you may never get themselves back? Please, please, we are not ready to lose more lives. Lots of lives are already lost on the train. And lots of people are injured and still in the hospital. Some are still dying. Mr. President, President Muhammad Buhari, I, as one of the people that come on the forefront to campaign for you and vote for you and mobilize for you, I'm begging you today. Please, please, show us mercy. Show us mercy. Show us mercy, please. Please, we're begging you. I'm calling on the President Muhammad Buhari to come to our aid. President Muhammad Buhari, please come to our aid and rescue, please. Thank you.
Country people like Britannia, this is BBC Pidgin service, and we're doing live for Friends Conference with families of the people where they kidnap, where Jaguda people kidnap for the Abuja Kaduna train.
The police in Anambra State have neutralized one gunman during a gun battle at Nteje Divisional Headquarters in Oyi local government area of the state. Police Public Relations Officer in the state, DSP Tochukwu Ikenga, in a statement said that the police commissioner, CP Echeng, led operatives that launched an offensive on some gunmen who attacked the station. He said that the CP, who received a distress call that the station was being attacked, raced to the scene where he engaged the criminals alongside his team, killing one while others narrowly escaped. Ikenga said that the operatives recovered one Type 06 rifle, one magazine and 53 live ammunition of 5.56 mm and charms from the gunmen. Now, 75,000 families displaced by Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast region have successfully resettled in Gombe State. Governor of the state, Inuwa Yahaya, made this known when he received his counterpart and chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Kayode Fayemi, at the Government House, Gombe, last Wednesday. Governor Inuwa said that the effect of insurgency in the northeast region has left people in the area damaged with devastating livelihood crisis. Governor Kayode Fayemi said his visit to Gombe was to interact with Governor Inuwa Yahaya, and leaders of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the state on pressing national issues.
Have the effect, you mentioned it, of the insurgency because of displaced persons that came to settle here. We made this place to be home for them. As at the last count, about 75,000 families have resettled in Gombe. I don't think even if an opportunity comes, they will still think of going back because they've resumed their normal lives, they've restored, and they are moving forward. And that is the essence of, the federation, to see that we are our brothers' keepers, and we go with one another, accommodate one another, and give chance for us to realize our potential to the fullest. That is what we are doing here in Gombe. I'm very proud of doing.
These are very critical times for our country. Our president is doing his best to calm things down. The economy is not experiencing the best of times. Our security situation continues to be challenging, and we are in a period of transition. So we definitely need to find a way not only to continue to do what Mr. President is doing, but to also look for the best way to build on the gains of this administration over the last almost.
The Nigerian Immigration Service Murtala Muhammad International Airport Lagos Command has intercepted an American with firearms at the airport. The male passenger, whose name was not given, arrived the country aboard a United Airlines flight from Houston, United States at 10:10 a.m. on Thursday and was discovered to have checked in the firearms. According to an investigation, the passenger had 2 international passports from Nigeria and America. A security official who craved anonymity said that the American citizen did not declare the firearms as stipulated in international laws on firearms carriage. He explained that the passenger had some documents from the United States which allowed him to carry firearms, but the authenticity of the papers could not be ascertained. And now on political matters, with the race to the 2023 elections heating up, a group of ex-Niger Delta militants want the All Progressives Congress to adopt Ibrahim Bello Dauda as its consensus candidate. The group addressed a press conference in Abuja on Thursday. It believes the aspirant is backing is a pan-Nigerian who has the needed capacity to lead the country. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
The number of aspirants on the platform of the All Progressives Congress keeps growing every day, and so do the number of interests. This group of the ex-Niger Delta militant leaders under the auspices of Abiodun Ogbo obviously have their political direction, which does not follow the general. The group has written to the national leadership of the APC, asking it to adopt a consensus candidate who can be a rallying point for the divergent interests that have emerged.
We are pleased to endorse the candidate for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2023. We are looking forward for your favorite cooperation and support. We hope to work together in order to experience with you the dew of the new era.
According to the group, Ibrahim Bello Dauda is a firm believer of Nigeria First, which is why they have adopted him as their candidate. It now remains for the APC to adopt him as consensus candidate because his antecedents speak volumes of his preparedness to address the myriad of challenges facing the nation.
A man that can lead Nigeria in a greater glory. We find out that that is why we made up our minds to support him. We come up with this, our platform, to support him, to our group to support him. So he's a man that can change Nigeria in a greater glory.
Ibrahim Bello Dauda recently joined Nigeria's presidential race and hopes to emerge as the APC's flag bearer. These ex-militant leaders believe that he is a detribalized Nigerian who can unite the country and place it on the path of sustainable development. Shapiro Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, is calling on all eligible voters across the state to ensure that they obtain their permanent voter card before the 2023 general elections, saying that the voter's card is the most powerful weapon in the hands of the electorate. The monarch made the assertion while flagging off a voter education and sensitization campaign in Ofar Kudu. Trust TV correspondent reports that the call by the monarch became imperative as INEC is set to close all registration and collection of PVC by June 2022. The report.
Drawn from various civil society organizations, these young men and women are to be trained on voter card online registration, after which they will be deployed to various communities to ensure all eligible voters are registered.
Voter card register is very significant because it is the most powerful weapon in electing credible leaders, right from the presidents, governors, and lawmakers. Therefore, all eligible voters who do not have their cards or wish to replace them should do so as quick as possible.
According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, given the population of Kano, the number of registered voters is not encouraging and that youth are not coming forward to assist, especially on awareness campaigns.
We have prepared a timetable now and we made it available to all stakeholders, including the media houses. And we have done a lot of sensitization for people to take note of the timetable and to know when we are visiting the registration areas, or what we call the wards, so that people can have easy access to register. This rotation will continue till end of June, by God's grace, when we'll round up and then prepare to get the cards ready for the owners.
These and several other concerns led the Kano Emirate to come up with this voter education and sensitization program, hoping it will help reawaken the people on the importance of voter card for all eligible voters.
Kano has the largest number of voters in Nigeria. Therefore, so long we wish to remain in this position, we must all obtain our voter cards. This will in effect assist us to elect good leaders.
While Kano Emirate continue with its voter education campaign, it is therefore expected that all eligible voters across the state will make use of the opportunity to obtain their permanent voter cards. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up shortly. Influx of Almajiri children in Kano. This and more after the break.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Thanks for saying you're watching Trust News Update. Here's a look at the top stories again. Amnesty International says 1,500 students kidnapped in Nigeria since Chibok attack 8 years ago. Plus, families of victims of Abuja Kaduna train attack accuse federal government of abandoning their loved ones. And now moving on, Edo State government says it will build more facilities for Lassa fever testing as part of efforts to contain the epidemic in the state. The State Commissioner for Health, Professor Obehi Akoria, disclosed this while briefing journalists after the weekly Edo State Executive Council meeting chaired by Governor Godwin Obaseki at the Government House in Benin City. Akoria said the government is working with the National Center for Disease Control to create additional testing facilities in Edo North, specifically at the Edo State University, Ozairu. He said that within the next couple of weeks, 2 more facilities will be added to the already existing one at Irua Specialist Teaching Hospital. The National Orientation Agency, NOA, says that it is partnering fact-checking platforms as part of efforts to tackle the menace of fake news in the country. Such platforms, the NOA said, include Dafuda, Center for Journalism Innovation Department, Dubawa, Tomruk, IHUP, Multiverse, as well as the Center for Democracy and Development. At a 3-day capacity building course for select ministries, departments and agencies, the NOA said misinformation through fake news is believed to be responsible for some of the security challenges, misconceptions and uninformed decisions on issues of national concern by the citizens. Trust TV Aisha Salihu reports.
The rise of digital media over traditional media has come with issues of lack of verification, authenticity, and fact-checking of information disseminated across news platforms. The Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Garba Abari, and other stakeholders say proliferation of fake news in Nigeria has called for the need to train 37,000 Nigerians drawn from ministries, departments, and agencies, especially as the country counts down to the 2023 election.
The media, civil society, state and domestic actors, and indeed all stakeholders in the Nigeria project to work collectively to defeat fake news, hate speech, and the emergence of violence and war.
As a practitioner in the defense and security sector, we recognize that fake news today is one of the greatest threats to our coexistence and national security.
A leader will always be available to collaborate and join any body, government, private association, individuals to ensure that we use the internet safely for the progress of Nigeria.
This goes to underscore the evolving nature of the digital media cyberspace and its correlation to policy making and national security.
Representatives of fact-checking partners at the National Fact-Checking Course 5, who lauded the leadership of NOA for tackling misinformation and disinformation, noted that fake news undermines journalistic norms.
And we hope, as the National Security Advisor mentioned, that the federal government will truly take this fact-checking and provide the necessary requirements to enhance beyond 37,000.
Fake news, I like to say, is a crime that all of us have committed at one point or the other. I mean, all of us have received false information, all of us have one way or the other acted on false information, or even spread false information to people.
The capacity building is in continuation of the task of training 1,000 fact-checkers in each state, including the FCT, over a period of 5 years in NOA's 5-year strategic work plan. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, there are currently over 300,000 Almajiris studying in various Zangaya Islamia schools across Kano State who often beg for food to survive. Although Kano State had recently commenced the evacuation and repatriation of Almajiri pupils, the influx of Almajiri into the state seems to be on the increase. In this special report, Idris Jibrin takes a look at the plight of Almajiri children in Kano, Nigeria Center for Islamic Learning and Scholarship. The report.
As the name implies, Almajiri is an Arabic word referring to a person seeking for Islamic knowledge, while Almajiranci is seen as the act of seeking for Islamic knowledge that is commonly practiced in northern Nigeria. Prior to the colonization of Nigeria, this system of education was well respected. The Almajiri do not beg because the Zangaya schools were well funded by the traditional institutions. But today, this system of education is considered obsolete and condemned by many, which forced government to take a stand.
In Kano, there are two Almajiris, of course. Those street beggars who doesn't even go to school, and they sleep by the roadside, they sleep in market, they sleep under the bridge. And of course also the other category of Almajiri, which normally they come from the rural local governments into the city in search of Quranic knowledge.
While the Almajiri students continued to beg on the streets, often slept in an abandoned and uncompleted buildings, various government policies were set up to checkmate the system. With the integration of Zangaya Islamia schools into Western education by the Kano State government, it is though this practice will be on its way out. However, recent events are a key indication that Almajiri education might have come to stay in northern Nigeria.
So that is why we provided strict measures. One, we established Almajiri Mega School here in Kano. We took over 3 schools from federal government. We renovated these 3 schools. We put all facilities needed for Almajiri education as an institution. So all our Almajiris repatriated from other states back to Kano, we gave them admission into these schools.
As Kano State government continues its integration program of the Almajiri schools, it is expected that the practice of street begging associated with it will significantly reduced. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has accused the federal government of deliberately delaying the signing and implementation of the 2022 negotiated agreement, as well as the deployment of University Transparency and Accountability Solution as payment platform. The union also alleged that the National Information Technology Agency, NIDA, policy was a tool set up by the federal government to blackmail the union's struggle and to put UTES in a bad light. The report.
Addressing newsmen at ASU Secretariat of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, the ASU Owerri Zonal Coordinator, Uzo Onyebinama, noted that among the outstanding issues yet to be addressed in the 2020 Memorandum of Agreement is the acceptance and signing of the renegotiated 2009 FGN ASU Agreement, which embodies the conditions of service for academic staff in public universities.
If NIDA is speaking of fight with ASU for declaring that the promotion and appointment of the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy to the rank of professor by the Federal University of Technology of Owerri was unmerited and without due process. It should come clear. That announcement by NIDA was to blackmail the union and put UTAS in bad light. By that act, NIDA has sabotaged the efforts of its principal, the federal government, to resolve the issues surrounding the lingering strike.
Oyebinama will lamented the proliferation of private universities, also called on the National Universities Commission, NUC, to review its laws to control the establishment of universities in the country, and faulted federal and state governments over the poor financing of existing public universities.
It's not about opening new universities. It's about funding, and sustaining those universities. If they fund the existing universities and expand their facilities, the existing universities can absorb whatever students these universities will take.
The Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union has urged the federal government to drop its ego and accept the University Transparency and Accountability Solution (UTAS) payment platform developed by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The union said the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System (IPPIS) being used by the federal government breached the establishment integrity of the tertiary institution system, undermined the statutory functions of the governing councils, and opened the payroll up to unilateral manipulations. The COESU president, Smart Olugbeko, at a press conference in Abuja, wondered why government officials were playing with the lives of Nigerian youth. He said the challenge created by the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System has been a source of worry and constituted one of the major issues responsible for the industrial crisis in the College of Education system. Olugbeko maintained that within a short time of using IPPIS, irregularities such as salary omission, accommodation of ghost workers, mutilated salary, and inconsistency in payment of salary of staff of sabbatical and study leave were encountered, and called on the federal government to accept UTAS. And away from Nigeria, United Nations envoy to South Sudan warned on Thursday that almost 9 million people will be in need of aid this year as the fragile country grapples with a surge in violence between armed factions and a food crisis. Head of the UN mission in South Sudan, Nicholas Haysom, called on the leaders to step up efforts to quell the violence and urged the international community to channel in more assistance. Clashes have been flared anew in the world's youngest nation, despite a pledge by President Salva Kiir and his rival, Vice President Riek Machar, to silence their guns and strive towards implementing key provisions of a 2018 peace pact. South Sudan has been wrecked by instability since independence in 2011 and still struggling to draw a line under the war that claimed the lives of almost 400,000 people. And that wraps up Trust News Update. Connect with us via our social media platforms, and don't forget you can subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch more. I am Ayuba Ilia. Thank you for watching.